Hello, Empower community. Welcome back to CG EmpowerMe if you are a returning viewer, and welcome if you are a first time viewer. I am glad to have you here. And as always, this channel is about the empowerment, the mindset, the belief system, and the changes that are needed from within to reach your goals and to live the life that you desire and deserve to live. We all deserve to live a great life. In order for those changes to be made within our life, to have that success, we got to have goals and we have to have a plan. And I have mentioned this previously in my other video, my mindset morning message video of life is change, growth is optional. So check that out to go and see that message as well, to continue to remind yourself that you have to grow with life. You have to go with life. And those changes are required for you to achieve your goals, for you to feel successful in your life. And I want to read a message from one of my mindset mastery cards that I created. And this one is life changes. Hopefully you can see this. Life changes. Just like the sand changes with each tide, life is ever changing and it's up to you to change with it. So keep going and growing as you move forward in life. Staying stagnant gets you nowhere, but making moves takes you everywhere. Do not dim your light to relate to those who do not support your growth or stay in the past. Doing so will only keep you stuck in a self-sabotaging cycle of limitations and pain. Learn and experience as much as possible. You can only reach your full potential, happiness, and success in life through change. Remember, you got to go to grow. So that has been a very important message throughout my life, especially throughout the past 2 decades of my professional life, where I have had to make a lot of changes and a lot of sacrifices to get me to the next step, especially when I felt stuck, when I felt like I don't know what else to do. Nothing is working. I am struggling. I am tired. I am exhausted. What do I do to push forth? Every single time it was change is required in your life. You must change, whether it was a mental shift, whether it was a physical change in my location or a change in the people and the communities that were around me, that I was living in. It required great change. And sometimes that change, it was scary. Had a lot of fear going into it, but I understood that change was the only way to get me out of my situation, especially if it was uncomfortable, if it was negative, if it was limiting me, which was causing me to limit myself and increase fears and limitations that were not needed in my life. So I understand change can be scary. It can feel scary. The unknown can feel scary because it's something that we don't know. How do you plan for it? How do you prepare for it? You take the time to think about what is needed in your life to change. Sometimes those changes have to be drastic. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they are big. So what is going on in your life that is limiting you, that might be hindering you from moving to the next step? Take that time, write it down. I keep emphasizing, write this down. Get it down on paper, write it on your computer. Write it down and get those thoughts, make it real, bring it into your reality, bring it into the front of your mind and your attention. Where are you struggling? Where are you not going? Where do you want to reach, but you feel that it is hard, it is difficult, and you can't get there because that's what you believe? What are you doing to change that? What steps are you taking? What actions are you doing? Who are you surrounded by? Do you have support? Sometimes you have to be your own support system. Or you find those people, you attract those people, you find those communities to help support you. I've definitely had to make drastic changes throughout my life. Many, many, many years ago, when I lived in California, I just feel like I was struggling so much at that time in my life and trying to find work, trying to connect with people, trying to build professional and personal relationships, trying to move forward, trying to even afford to live in California. For some people, they thrive and others struggle. I certainly struggled. So I realized that I had to make big changes because I was not moving forward. I felt like I was not going anywhere. There was just so much resistance and I just felt stuck. And I recall a message that I believe I was meant to receive. I saw this posted in a magazine, but it said at that time, if you are young, single, and broke, and boy, I was all three. I was definitely young and maybe around my late 20s, was single. And I didn't need my bank account to tell me that I was broke. I could not even afford to pay my rent at that time. So I definitely was struggling and I needed to change and make big changes in my life to get me out of there. But I just recall seeing that something just sparked within. Because at that time, I had to ask a couple friends of mine, and that was so hard for me to do, to feel like I was admitting defeat, but it wasn't defeat. It was just me changing and adjusting to what was happening within my life. I had to ask two friends and say, I am struggling. I am having a hard time. I am broke. I don't have anywhere to live. Would you mind if I slept in your living room until I get back on my feet? That was such a hard thing to do, but it was necessary because I had nowhere to go back to, only to move forward. And I was determined to do what was necessary. And that was necessary to get me out of my situation. And it took me about 8 months for me to save up enough money. But I made the decision that I was going to move to Seattle, Washington. I had never been to Washington, let alone Seattle, ever in my life. But I was desperate. I was hungry. I needed change because it was not working out for me currently at that time in California. California was not the place for me to be. Like I said, some people thrive, others may not. I was in the category of I was not thriving. So I made that move. Drove in my car, had never been there before. And I understand that is scary and that's a big risk that most people do not want to take. But it was necessary. I made that change and it got me to the next step to receive opportunities that I was not receiving in California. I was able to go back to school full time. I had to work full time, and yes, that was hard, but I was able to do that and pay my rent that was way cheaper at the time in California. I was able to get a grant that I was not able to get in California to go back to school for free. So sometimes when you change your environment, you take those risks, you start receiving, the universe opens up to you because it sees that you are taking a step There's so much resistance that is blocking that energy and that growth that sometimes you have to change where you are, where it could be physical or have a mental shift. And in my situation, I required both, but I was able to grow. I learned so much going through that. How to survive, how to thrive, how to understand that the doors open up in your favor when you take a step forward, sometimes into the unknown. That is risky, that is scary. I had no idea what was waiting for me in Washington. I didn't even have a job lined up. I just had to start and go forth. But it got me to the next step and to the next step. And guess what? Here I am. So take the time for yourself and think about what changes. I'm not saying your changes have to be as drastic as picking up and blindly moving somewhere you have never been. But if you do take that risk, great for you. Do that if that is something that is required. But what change, small or big, in your life to get you out of being stuck, to move you forward? What is required? Because change is required in order for you to receive, for things, the universe to start working. It's waiting to take a step with us. It works with us. It is always in alignment with us. So take that time. Reevaluate. Where do you intend to go? Only you know where you want to go. Do you have a plan to get you there? Your plan doesn't have to be complicated. It could be simple. What simple steps that will not overwhelm you? That will not make you say, this is too hard, too challenging, I can't do this. What is something that you can change every single day? Is it an affirmation that you can say every single day, a positive affirmation to push you forward? Your belief system to keep believing in yourself when times get hard, when you doubt yourself. Keep going. Is it a behavior? What activities are you doing? What are you engaging in? Are you using those distractions? Are you watching spend a lot of your time watching a lot of TV shows, putting off things you should not be doing? So think about that. What changes? What sacrifices? And it doesn't have to be a big sacrifice. It may feel like that at first, but what do you need to do to go forward, to reach your goals? So I encourage you to understand and to find out what changes are necessary in your life. If you feel like you are stuck, you are not moving forward. Why? What resistance is there? What are you doing? What are you not doing? Who is in your life? Who is supportive? Are you supportive of yourself? Do you believe that you can do it? If you believe that you can't be successful, if you believe that you can't, then that's the first change that you need to have with yourself, and believe that you can. Because when you make that mental shift and you tell yourself that you believe that you can do it, and you may not know how, that is the first step of you changing, of you telling yourself, of you telling the universe, guess what? I agree to be in alignment and to believe differently and to believe that it is possible and that change is happening. So I hope this message, and even some of my story that I shared of my own struggles that I've had and the changes that I had to make to get me to the next step, I hope that it brings further motivation in your life, empowers you to take the time and say, you know what? Maybe things have not been working out for me. What feedback have I gotten from what I've been doing? What are the results? If it's not working out, what do I need to change? Maybe I need to try something different. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you expect different results, 9 times out of 10, or it might be 10 times out of 10, you will most likely not see things change if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting change to happen. You must break that cycle. You must do something different. So thank you. I hope this message reaches you and encourages and motivates you and uplifts you. So thank you so much. And let me know your comments if you have anything to share. Let me know if you enjoy this information. Subscribe so that you can continue to receive notifications when new videos are posted, and it helps me understand what content to continue to create. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.